Hello, everyone. I want to thank you for in advance for watching this video. Um, I'm going to be talking about some things that we don't quite often um, hear it or talk about it in terms of would it be church? Sometimes we talk about it with some friends. Anyways, about in 2005, 2006, after I finished my first master's, I in my first master's I study Mayan religion. You heard me, Mayan religion. The Maya people in southern Mexico and Guatemala, which I'm from, are they're not just on the historical books, on the history books. They're alive and they're well, and so they have a lot of beliefs that are not Christian nor Catholic or Protestant. And so I began to do some research for my first master's, for my first master thesis. And so I always have been intrigued how other religions besides Christianity deal with your spirit, your connection with God. I know a lot of other religions talk about your connection with um, eh, the nature per se, right? And also in biblical terms, there are some references to that too. And so it's not an easy topic to dive in. So we're gonna go step by step, and bear with me. There will be probably some figures, some PowerPoint, some notes that will be coming on the screen after I edit this video. So, but I wanted to start with very basic, is with the question, what make us human beings? What is it that we are different from the animal kingdom? What make us human beings? That's the question that we're going to try to answer. Obviously, in my studies, I want to say from the beginning, I'm not a psychologist. I studied psychology because of my theological training. I done counseling because of as a clergy. I've done a lot of research in the last few years, and some of these things that I'm going to be talking about, I have 50 pages that I have so far about emotional spiritual intelligence, and that's something that we'll touch a little bit here and there as we go. But primarily, I want to focus. I want to focus on what I wrote in this book, and in trying to answer the basic question, what makes us human beings, right? So in my years as a clergy, I work with a team of clergy, and we had to do a lot of training psychologically because we were a team. And so we had to take a lot of psychological testing, such as the Myers-Briggs test, personality test. And the other one that really improved a lot, that it came from more religious based, but it has been into the business world, is the Enneagram. Yeah, I'll give you, if you have any questions, you can post it on and Facebook in the comments, and I can give you some more uh, research on terms of that on LinkedIn, where I'm going to put these two videos or YouTube. Anyways, so this is something that as you begin to be professionally trained in theology, you begin to look at different disciplines. I had the privilege and the honor to study psychology of religion, spirituality, spiritual direction, um, and then sociology of religion, right? Anthropology. I'm working with my PhD right now, and combining theology with anthropology and merging and having those conversations. So my heart always has been, how that's one discipline connects with the other discipline, and many times each discipline is working individually, and then there's no dialogue, there's no communication, there's no interaction on that, and that's sad because um, we have different perspectives that complement each other, and often we don't see that. So that's just a little bit introduction to the introduction of what we're going to do in this series of a conversation. And so it is very intriguing to me because I started it from more of a theological perspective analysis in terms of studying all the religions, but also studying my own Christian spirituality. And then through my higher education, my grad education, um, the aspects of other discipline complement my spirituality and my theology. And that's what I mentioned, the other disciplines like anthropology, sociology, psychology, you name it, they're very important in terms of get with the program, if you will, in terms of developing your spirituality. And so I want to be sensitive uh, to others. Obviously, I will come from a Christian perspective. Nevertheless, there are other things from other religions that we want to bring together. Okay. And not as this unity, but a cohesive understanding, a comprehensive understanding how one helps the other, if you will. So don't turn me off yet. We'll talk about some of those things because they're very important. The whole purpose, maybe from other Christians, for me personally, is how can we build your spirituality? How can we help in your quest in how to develop your spirit? And we'll talk about all those in details later on. But I want to acknowledge that my sensitivity will stay in the conversation. You can ask me questions. If let me tell you something, I study a lot of this, and more that I study all the religions and all my own Christianity, my own theologies. There's so much out there. I have done a lot of research from the beginning in here in this book, in Apocalyptic Anointing. That's the title of my book. You can order in Amazon. But it's very simple. What I'm trying to do with this video is that often we don't talk about this type of spirituality because we don't want to offend. There are different views, there are different perspectives, and so on and so forth, opinions, theologies, understanding. And so, but today, I want to concentrate in beginning to talk about not only what makes us human beings, but how do we connect to God or to the higher power? And again, that in a nutshell, it's so simple, but it can be really controversial, right? And so, and we're not here to create controversy. We're here to try to explain some spiritual phenomena connected with emotions, connected with you as a human being. And so, there are so many things. Like I said, I trying to write. I have 50-page paper right now. I'm trying to write about spiritual intelligence. And one of those books that I have used for that is by Daniel Goleman. If you really want to learn more about your emotions, how they work, there are several books by Daniel Goleman, and this is the first one that came out. It's called Emotional Intelligence. This is a good book if you wanted to understand yourself, and also taking those tests. I've done a class before where knowing yourself, I entitled it, where we take a Enneagram test, and the Enneagram test also, they're really easy. You can take it professionally, pay a fee for it, or you could just do it on your own, and they will give you some results. And just getting to know your emotional being, and we'll talk about more specific about that. Or your spirituality, there is spiritual test also. they measure how is your sensitivity. And it's not like they're revealing something new or grandiose, it's just affirming already what is in you. Okay. And so these conversations, unfortunately, they don't take place as if you go to get a master's degree in counseling and psychology, spirituality, and theology. And the rest of us folks, we're like, what in the world's going on out there? Because we don't know. Again.